Hi guys, Trinity here. Welcome to my channel. So, tonight's video is going to be about revealing the tarot, okay? Um, this is just how, basically my experience with the tarot and how I connect and bond with them. And I thought maybe if I did a video giving you a tip about my experience, that you may be able to take that and it may resonate with you and work for you. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Okay, so to start off, whether you're new to the tarot or you're seasoned, the tarot is a system of a standard of 78 cards, okay? Learning the basic meanings of the tarot is helpful, and paying attention to your intuition will help also. Okay? Everyone finds their own methods, okay, to the bond or to the connection. In this video, I describe how I bond with my decks. And the cool thing is, I mean, it took me a little while to be able to do this. Like, a lot of people walk around with the misconception that when they're a beginner and they're learning about the tarot, they think that people that realized at some point in time in their life that they had intuition, that they were able to open it, access it, use it, be involved in spirituality, that right away they know how to use divination tools. Generally, 9 times out of 10, you don't just pick up a divination tool, a deck of tarot cards, and go, oh yeah, I know what these mean. Alright, yeah, I can read with these, sure. Let me do a reading. No, most people that doesn't happen to. And if it does, it's more like, you know, they might get real lucky and spend a few minutes staring at the cards and be like, okay, you know, they're not going to know the system, but maybe they could just work off of their intuition, and if you can, that's fantastic. But most of us, we still have to learn the system, and then we have to kind of bond with those cards before we can start to do readings and really grasp what they mean altogether as a whole. So, the way I describe my relationship with the tarot is like a friendship or my family. Okay? I know it sounds a little bit strange, but that's how I relate to the tarot. That's me. So let me explain what I mean by that. So I own tarot and oracle decks, okay? And although I will primarily use the tarot for my readings, I also do incorporate the oracle as well. Maybe not all the time, but I do it here and there when I feel like I need it. When I buy my decks, I bond with them or imprint by sitting and going through the cards one by one, okay? I do that to see what they say to me, all right? I keep them close to me, and I carry them in my car. I carry them with me pretty much all the time. I almost always have a deck on me, or 5. Um, I'm a little nutty with the tarot. But anyway, they come with me wherever I go, okay? I see my decks as family or friends because, well, anyway, that being said, they're part of me, okay? There are decks that are based on different systems. You'll start to learn that if you're a beginner. My choice system was always the Rider-Waite. I have learned a little bit of the Thoth recently, so I'm not like really proficient in the Thoth yet. But what I'm getting at is, when I first started buying decks, because I was learning and teaching myself, because I didn't have anybody to teach me, I had to learn it on my own. I went with the Rider-Waite system. It seemed like the easiest system to learn. And then, you know, I went with my intuition after that, okay? But I chose pretty much only Rider-Waite friendly decks so I would understand. Just seemed easier. Eventually I learned so much from these families, okay? And I'll explain why I call them that in a minute. I started stepping out of my comfort zone and buying more decks that I wasn't familiar with recently. And, I'll say within the last year or two, I just started grabbing, like, different decks that were not Rider-Waite friendly that I could experiment with, okay? So, let me tell you what I learned and why now I have a deeper respect for the tarot, okay? Whether a tarot deck is based off a certain system or it's its own animal, you'll learn to understand and speak their language, and here's why. The more time you spend looking at the imagery in your deck, the more you begin to see the expressions in each card, movement, stillness, body language, colors, etc. Okay? Each and every tarot deck was born with a background and or theme. Okay? That makes each one unique. It's its own flavor, pretty much, okay? Some are people, some are creatures, some are animals, but I also learned the cards by laying them down, and like say I might take one deck that's fairies and take another deck has like a Renaissance feel to it, and just lay the suit of wands down in each one and see if there's any similarities. I can't speak tonight, I'm tongue-tied, but you know what I mean. See what the differences are between the two. But I have learned, whether it be on the internet or when you go to your metaphysical shop, tarot cards generally pick you. You don't pick them. Something grabs your attention about that deck. I don't care if it's the back of the cards, one specific card, 3 specific cards. If you notice something grabs your attention, that's your inner self and your intuition, believe it or not, saying, I want that, grab it. We'll figure it out. If we don't know what it is, we'll figure it out. It's fine. Okay? Now, this has been my experience, my personal experience. Not to say that when this happens, you keep, you keep each and every deck that you buy. Because I've gifted decks of mine that maybe I liked it first and then I felt like I didn't resonate with them. But, like I said, not to say you keep each and every one or you connect with each and every one and love it. But some you may decide you like, or you liked at the time, and then you just can't develop the right relationship, and you don't hold on to them. But this is how I see it. So imagine you move into a neighborhood and you meet different families in this neighborhood, okay? You develop a relationship with them, right? Some you visit daily or even weekly maybe, right? And then some you're not that fond of, but you like them, so you keep the friendship and you keep things kosher. They all have all tarot decks have different personalities and a different language that they speak. Okay? This has been my experience. This is how I started to bond with them. I started to realize this. The Oracle, they're an animal of their own, okay? They're more centered around themes. There's no system to follow. You get familiar with their language, though. But you like with an Oracle deck, you'll get familiar with the language and you'll channel your messages more freely because it's not really a system. You're kind of like just going with the flow and what the cards make you feel and the imagery that you're looking at. Piques your intuition. Okay, anyway, you decide to I guess pretty much any way you decide to interpret your decks, okay, you begin to see the different personalities that each deck holds. Whoops! So, usually when I'm looking at decks, whenever I find them, sometimes the theme, sometimes a couple cards call to me. Okay? Hang on one second, guys. We're having technical difficulties. I'm dropping shit. I gotta pick it up. So give me 1 second. Because I am not always organized. And I'm already screwing up the video. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Usually when I'm personally looking at decks, whenever I find them, usually like a theme will call to me, or a couple of the cards that I see in that deck will call to me. And when I see that, I'll buy the deck. When I get them home and I hold them, what I do then is I hold them to my heart and I ask that the cards trust me as I will them, and help me to understand their language and help me to correctly interpret their messages. Okay? Now, basically what I'm trying to tell you is get real familiar with your cards. Shuffle them, look at them, spread them out. I'm going to show you an example of something, so I'm going to turn the camera down and try not to screw this up too bad, guys, okay? I know that so far I'm always dropping cards. That's me, dropping cards. Now, this is a tarot deck. This is the Fantastical Creatures Tarot, which I did not do a review on yet, but I absolutely adore and love. Okay? If you look at these cards, it's called Fantastical Creatures Tarot, in case you're interested. You'll see the theme here is creatures. Okay? And they're all different. And some of them are, they look like people, but they may be elves, they may be fairies. Okay? See how beautiful? Now we have the Anna Kay Tarot, which a lot of people are very familiar with. And this has characters. They have similar, notice how their clothing is similar. The backgrounds are fairly similar. Okay. But I must have most of these upside down as usual. I'm either upside down or dropping cards. That's me, guys. So you'll see that there's different people, but most of the backgrounds in these cards are very similar. Then you have ones like the Thelema, which I love, with more of a Renaissance-y kind of feel. They're either wearing armor or clothes that look kind of flowy and Renaissance-y, right? So my point is, if you look at these different families, wouldn't they be like families, guys? I mean, think about it. This theme is based off the Rider-Waite. Sure it is. They changed some of the names. So what? But this is mermaids, fairies, all kinds of different creatures, elves. There's animals in here. There's horses. There's cats. I mean, this is all different creatures. This would be like the creature family to me. And then we have the Anna Kay, which I don't know what you would call this. What kind of theme you would call this. But there's people in it. They're dressed similar. And they're just real cute and cartoony, okay? And then you have the Thelema, which is the Renaissance-y, as I said. These remind me of families, and I bond with them like that. Okay, today I feel like kind of in a Renaissance-y mood, so I'm going to use my Renaissance-y deck. I think you guys get the point by now of what I'm getting at. Basically the tip is, and the gist of this video is, if you want to really reveal your tarot and find the mysteries that lie within. Bond with your decks closer. Pay more attention. Pick one deck. You could do it with all your decks, but you can't do it all at the same time, obviously. But pick a deck for the day. Maybe you could do one a day or one per week. Pick one deck for the week and say, okay, I'm going to spend the week with the Fantastical Creatures Tarot. And you spend the week just when you're at work and you have some downtime, sit there and look at each card and see what calls to you. See if there's a message in it for you for the day. And the next week, you put this one up on the shelf and you grab the next one, and you'll start to feel like they're your family. And you'll start to bond more and be able to kind of feel yourself in, excuse me, the theme of the card. So there you have it, guys. I hope this video helped. If you like my videos, like and subscribe. And if you have an idea of a video you would like me to make, let me know in the comments below. Okay, guys, have a great night. Bye-bye.